There we go.
What up, party people? You're listening to the Drunk Sports Podcast with Big Red and IndyCar Tim. Talking sports, current events, guy stuff, and everything in between. Now open up a cold one and drink along, because here they are, Lance and Tim. Gentlemen.
You can buy me a drink.
We're all drunk.
Absolutely.
Hello, and welcome to this midweek special episode of the Drunk Sports Podcast. I'm IndyCar Tim, and we are live tonight from Studio 69 at Casa Not So Grande. We are on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube, we are on Periscope, we're on all sorts of crap tonight.
Are you not
that
going
we
to
haven't been
introduce
on.
me?
Yes, but I was going to introduce you, and I let you run off with the rest of the crap that we're doing.
Holy shit.
So I was going to get to...
Can't even get love from my buddy. God damn it.
As always, I'm here with my favorite partner in the whole world,
Big Red.
Big Red. There you
and we, as I mentioned, we have a special midweek episode tonight. We are previewing, well, we're not. Well, he
Yeah,
is.
we are.
He is.
It's us.
The 2019, and as I just found out it was called, the Charles Schwab Challenge, is us old school and old people know it as the Colonial.
It's still the Colonial.
It-
It will
why-
always be the Colonial.
I have so many questions about that we don't have time for. Yes, this is a special midweek golf episode. It's our third because we did one for the Masters and we did one for the PGA, and those went really well. We had some interaction and quite a bit of views, and Lance pretty much handles those up. But we've got an actual expert on with us tonight. Lance, why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, man. We're going to run through this and get it going. But this is all brought to you by our local PGA teaching professional, John Gerber, and the good folks at the Highland Performance Golf Center in Carrollton. Y'all get yourselves out there and get a lesson from Johnny, and let Bus, Mr. Chris Bustle, walk you around that fantastic facility, including that full-in pro shop, and we're going to go into a whole lot more about what's out there, but let them help you get that swing where you want it to be. So I want to introduce a good friend of mine, a PGA member, Mr. John Gerber. Johnny, what do you got going on, baby?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to be with you. It's a beautiful day here in Dallas, Texas, enjoying this nice weather and looking forward to the tournament this week.
Who doesn't look forward to the Colonial, man? It's a classic track, and
Why aren't we going? I brought this up last week. Why aren't we going?
I don't know about you, but I am going.
I heard you guys know a few golf pros could probably get you tickets. I'm not sure why you guys aren't going.
Well, I was trying to go with Romo, but I failed to connect that.
Romo's not a golf pro. Maybe you ought to hook up. I happen to know a guy, and we're talking to him now. He might be able to make a phone call.
You think he knows some people, or he is the people?
He probably is the people, and probably have one dropped off for you.
Well,
Yes.
I promise you Romo has a little bit more connections than I do, but we'll go about going that a little bit later on.
That sounds good. Thanks, John.
Hey, Johnny, I was out there a day or so ago, and we walked around, and you got to show me that place. Tell me a little bit more about what you got going on. I know you had some renovations going on inside and out. What's up out there?
Yeah. The Highlands Performance Golf Center in Carrollton is, to be honest with you guys, I've been very lucky in this profession to see a lot of places around the country, and this is definitely one of the most unique places I've ever been to. Been fortunate to be a part of. The new general manager, Chris Bustle, came in from Kansas City, originally from Dublin, Ohio area, where I'm from. And he's got a lot of great things going on. It's one of those unique facilities. It's kind of a one-stop shop. You can go in and work on your game. We have two large tipping and putting facilities, practice facilities there. We have a large bunker area. And there's about 85 tees, grass tees, and there's about, I'd say about 25 mats with heated tees. We also have a fitness facility who's a guy named Chris Ownby, who is one of the most renowned fitness TPI certified guys here. Dallas, Texas area.
Yeah, and I think that's certainly something that Tim and I need to talk to you about. Maybe we can work some of this dad bod off and kind of turn it more into a golf bod. You know.
Well, it might be a little extra work for you there, Big Red, but I promise you, he's the guy to really make it happen. Again,
Can he give me a body like John Daly?
You've got a body like John Daly. You
That's
jackass.
probably true. That's probably true.
11 can do that too, but hey, that's the easy thing. Just go in there and get some beer. But listen, I think it's one of those facilities that's all encompassing. I'm very lucky to be there. I think they're going to start to do and already done some great things out there. And again, just to combine the fitness facility with the golf, and you can literally stay out there all day, every day, work on your game, work on your fitness. If you're really into golf and you're really into getting your game better, it's really the place to be.
Absolutely. Too tall, you can, because being out there, I know they've got 2 putting greens. I know one of them is over like 10,000 square feet, something like that. And they've got a short game facility. And I mean, you can just literally, like Johnny said, you can spend all day out there swinging, hitting balls, and working on all kinds of stuff. And they do have, I know John may not want me to say this out loud, but there is more than one teaching pro out there. But you will not find a better one than John Gerber. They do have 7 teaching pros is what I heard Bus say earlier today, Johnny.
Yeah, there's 7 qualified PGA member teaching professionals out there. All of us our goal is to get the people who come out there to enjoy the game a little bit more and to continue to get better in their own games. And we're all out there to help, and we just want you to come out there and have a great day. And you can ask any of us to help you with your game. You can ask any questions out there. It's a very, very friendly staff and very qualified staff. And again, I think with the leadership of Mr. Chris Bussell, I think that it's going to be the premier golf facility in the Dallas Metroplex for sure.
Johnny, are you fixing to get in a fight? It sounds like you got maybe a little tussle going on there around you.
Well, I'm having a little bit. I'm having a little dinner right now, and can you guys hear me? Okay?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I can hear you fine. It just sounds like somebody may be fixing to get the ass whipped over there behind you.
Well, they got trivia where I'm at right now, and I'm not with the trivia, so I got to get on this thing.
No,
Gotcha. We appreciate you coming on tonight, John.
absolutely,
For sure.
absolutely. But let's. One other thing I want to mention about the facilities out there before we move on and get going for the real reason we're here is. There's a big, like a miniature golf course out there, is there not? I mean, it's I think Bus put in quite a bit of money, and they've renovated that. They've got it relayed with new turf, and it's a par 3 miniature golf course, Timmy. So,
Yeah.
Dude, I'm excited about that. For sure.
I think, man, it's whenever we were talking, Bus even mentioned something about having like a grown-up man putt golf tournament out there.
Oh, I'm in.
So
I'm
like
in.
best ball or
I will dominate.
alternate shot.
I'm calling it right now.
You're going to dominate that?
I call it.
Can
I will
you dominate putt?
I can dominate whatever the
you
hell I want.
You think you want to dominate Daryl Sador? You think you can?
I'll kick his ass.
Well, I mean, the list goes on and
Wait,
on.
who
So
else?
now,
Jason
Johnny
Whitbread.
G, maybe we hook up Tim with Bus, and me and you take
Hey, do you have a
on
putter I can borrow?
take on Tim. I may have a couple. In fact, Johnny told me to take one out of my bag. So Johnny, me and you against Tim and Bus, and we'll play. I don't know. We'll play for a case of beer apiece, but you have to sit and drink that whole case of beer in front of us.
That's interesting there. That is interesting there.
Man,
Well, I know
It's a
I know
grown
who
man
the-
bet.
The drinkers are in the group, so hey, listen, we'll balance it out for sure.
We'll just make yours vodka and keep you away from microwave ovens while we're doing it.
Lord.
Yeah, right. That's one of the great unique features about the Highlands Performance Golf Center is they have a brand new renovated putt course, which is something that I've never that type of facility is something like I've never seen. They have par 3s, they have par 2s. They have waterfalls. They have some vegetation areas in the middle of it, and it's a pretty cool feature that draws people out. Another reason that draws people out to the and it's really pretty cool.
No, man, I saw there's like walls out there that look like the turns at Daytona. I mean,
I'm into that.
You have to give it a wrap to get it around the corner, man. It's awesome, and I can't wait to get out there and be a part of it.
To be honest with you, I was more scared playing that puppa than I've ever been playing any golf course I've ever played in my life. So that tells you everything you need to know. It's a lot of fun, but it's challenging as well.
And I know this, they've got a lot of good teachers out there, and I know that there's no kids listening. I hope there's no kids listening, but I know there's parents listening.
I hope my kids
you
are
know
listening.
what? Y'all get your kids out there. Let these professionals teach them from the get-go, so that they don't have to break old bad habits. And take them out there. Y'all have some fun. Treat them to some putt and beat some balls. So let's get going on. The reason we're here. Colonial, man. She's been around for a long time. So
John, can you tell me why they've abandoned the Colonial tag for that tournament?
I think it's all about the dollar. To be honest with you, I think that the sponsorship dollar comes in. The LPGA, the PGA Tour, the champions, they're always searching for title sponsors. I think one of the reasons, Colonial is one of those places that's a mainstay. The guys like going there. Here's what I think. I think that they're a little stuck, kind of like the Byron Nelson in the change of schedule. You got Memorial next week. The Byron Nelson in the field kind of hurt 2 weeks before just because of the PGA. And I think this following week with the Colonial is that the guys who are kind of choosing their spots before the U.S. Open, it's going to hurt the fields a little bit. Anytime Charles Schwab, you can add your name like a Charles Schwab to your tournament, it's only a good thing, right?
Right. Absolutely, yeah. But was there not a way to keep it, to I don't know, you could call it the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial or something like that, just to keep the name and keep the consistency and the recognition. That's just me.
Yeah, I think it's it's Colonial Country Club, so I think they're always going to keep that. But that's a good question. I firmly believe it has to come down with the dollar and the money they want to put on to be the title sponsor and have that whole right of their name to be on that.
So is there a chance in the future it might be called the Drunk Sports Podcast Colonial Invitational?
Well, it could be. It's just, you probably should get a few more viewers and probably got to raise
Probably need to have more to have more than our total of 12 listeners.
$14 in my account right now. I mean, would that? I don't know what it costs.
I just sent you 25. So
I bought beer.
That's shit. Yeah, we're shit out of luck, folks. Next year it will not be the Drunk Sports Podcast at the Colonial, because if it was mine and we were the Drunk Sports Podcast, it would be the Colonial Invitational on behalf of the Drunk Sports Podcast.
Oh, okay. And we get exemptions to play every year, right?
Dude, really? As long as John Gerber's carrying my bag, or I change, or John becomes Lance and I carry his bag and I'm Gerber carrying the bag. That I do not want to embarrass my daddy, man. I was a marshal out there for about 7 years. My dad was a marshal out there for about 12. Number 15 was where he finished up. Whenever he and I worked out there, we were walking marshals. We were kind of like 4 caddies, I guess you would say, and walk a full 18 holes with the guys. And whenever Daddy finished up, he was there's a great big tree right before the green on number 15 that Daddy had a chair that he sat in, and he was there for a couple of years. And I hate to do this, but this is just like the last couple of golf previews that we've done. It's golf.
Get emotional.
Golf to me was brought to me by my daddy and my uncle, and they're both gone. In fact, my cousin, my daddy, my uncle, and my cousin were my original foursome, and they're gone. But one day, we will play again, but hopefully it's not tomorrow. So let's have some fun. Let's talk about
Talk about bringing the room down.
I'm trying to pick it back up, man. Let's
talk some Colonial, brother. Let's pick the room up a little bit.
So the inaugural event was held 73 years ago, back in 1946. The Colonial Country Club is a par 70. It runs about 72 to 7,300 yards. The prize fund, I believe, last I saw, I think I'm looking at a bad number, but the last I saw, I believe it's about 7.3 to 7.5 million for the purse. The low aggregate score, meaning the low total of number of strokes to win the damn thing, was 259 by a short knocker, Zach Johnson. Short knocker on tour standards, not my standard. I wished I had his game. And to par again, Zach at minus 21. That's back in 2010. And the defending champion is Access Golf's own Justin Rose. So, man, it's cool. There's 11, I believe, multiple winners. Mr. Hogan. This is Hogan's Alley. This is Ben Hogan. This is, we have the Nelson. The Colonial was Hogan's tournament, and he never put his name on it. And I think that maybe something that I would do if I was ever able to change the name of the tournament was to
all it takes is money.
Make it the Ben Hogan Invitational at the Colonial. I think that'd be cool. 10 guys have won the tournament more than once. 11 guys have won the tournament more than once. Hey, I'm hearing myself. I'm sorry. We've got 10 guys that have won it twice, and one guy has won it 5 times. And again, that's Mr. Hogan. So
fixed it.
Did you?
Yep.
Wow, you did. You're a genius.
Just don't put a golf club in my hand right now.
Right, because you'll end up hitting me, and I'm not Tiger, and you're not his blonde-headed, fine ex-wife.
Oh, God.
I don't want you chasing me down the street.
Is that why you tried to put that wig on me earlier?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
So there it goes. Anyway, Johnny, talk to me about the mindset. You again, and it's something I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to throw myself under the bus about it. Johnny Gerber is a good friend of mine, and whenever we first started talking about doing a golf show, I might have mentioned something about Johnny being on a mini tour, and I have taken a truckload of shit over that.
I've heard about this.
Johnny was not on a mini tour.
Well, I was. We all have to start somewhere, right?
Well, yeah, you do, but I did. I mean, so I wasn't wrong. We're gonna put that on apologies and corrections for
But
ever.
Some mini tours.
So yes, you did some.
I played mini tour golf. I think that's what the quote was.
Okay, I was wrong,
So,
Johnny.
yeah.
Johnny, I can't get any closer to this microphone. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Okay, I just blown your ear a little bit. I'm sorry, but.
Lance is getting intimate with his microphone right now.
I wish I could just talk to Johnny and not talk to anybody else, because I feel bad now, and I'm sorry, Johnny.
When you said that, so I don't know where we want to go with this.
No, what I want you to tell me, and these good folks that are listening to us, tell me a little bit about your tour background. I know this is something that we did not talk about. We weren't going to bring it up, but I want to know, and I want these folks to know that we've got a legit dude that has swung the sticks with some of the best of them. I want them to know that what we're throwing out there is not just buckets of shit. It's somebody that knows the game. Besides being a teaching pro, he's been out there. He's rubbed elbows with them. He knows their mindset, and he knows what's going through their heads. So tell me where you came from. What it's about.
I was very, very lucky to be supportive coming from Columbus, Ohio, and being supportive on some of my dreams and stuff that I wanted to do to play some golf. And I think my greatest attribute is was never scared to go and compete, and I wanted to compete, and I kind of wanted to see the world. So I was fortunate enough to go to Europe for a little while. I was fortunate enough to go to South America for a little while. Played a lot here, and yeah, mini tours definitely for sure. But I played in a lot of country opens, Mexico Open, Brazil, Argentina, things of that nature. That was part of the European Challenge Tour and things of that nature. But I never really got to the pinnacle to where that I wanted to play the big tour, the big PGA Tour. But still has those great experiences in playing against and playing, being paired with some of the best players in the world at that time, and seeing how they played and learning. And there's a lot of guys out there that you have never heard of that are just fantastic. And whatever reason they can't get out there, whatever reason that they haven't succeeded yet to their ability, who knows? But there's just so many good players out there, and I was very fortunate. And I look back on, my playing days, and I was maybe not got to the point that I wanted to, but was very blessed to see the world and be in some scenarios that most people in their life will never be able to see. And I'm fortunate that, and I'm taking those experiences from playing competitive golf and taking it to try to get my students better, and trying to kind of forward the game through the teaching and through the PGA. And I'm very fortunate to be a PGA member. I'm very fortunate to work in the business under some really good PGA members. And now that's kind of my passion, and I enjoy the teaching aspect and just taking those experiences and try to carry it on to some of the other people coming up.
Well, Johnny, a little birdie told me that there's a tournament coming up in August that you may be playing in. What's going on in August?
Which one is that?
Is that the you got the Texas Open or not the what's?
Yeah, the Texas Open. It's a state open, just kind of like a lot of open. So you have the Florida Open, things of that. Yeah, it's just me moving down to Dallas area now in the last few weeks. It's one of those big tournaments in Texas. There's a lot of great players. It's a qualifying scenario that we have to go through the PGA. But again, staying competitive is really something I really want to continue to do. And I think that's, as you continue to stay competitive, you can only transfer and in your lessons to your students and learn about those things. I love to stay competitive, and I just think that I take that to my teaching. I take that to my students.
And I 100% agree that golf with your buddies is fun, but you never put your skills to the test unless you tee one up and it's your name against everybody else's name and your game against everybody else's game in a tournament. So I'll tell you what, Johnny, we've got between me and Timmy and Jeb, the three of us could probably team up together and loop you for that tournament. We'll do 6 holes apiece. I will probably need a break. We'll just leapfrog each other. We'll probably do every 3 holes. And as long as, because we will have to have beer in our bag. And I know that you don't drink while you play. So
how is that possible?
The man does not drink when he plays golf.
I don't.
I admire you, sir.
Well, I mean, if I drank while I play golf, I'd drink all the time. So I don't know.
He would have to have bottle service.
They don't have like cart girls during the tournaments?
Hell no.
Oh.
Come on now.
So how does John Daly do it?
They're professionals.
All around.
He comes with McDonald's cups.
Yeah, he does.
With not Dr. Pepper, but Diet Coke, and I'm sure he's got a little something mixed up in there. So, Johnny, this my favorite tournament in the world is Colonial, and I know that you've got some insight, and you've got some ideas on who's going to come out where. Why don't you let us know who you think will come out on the top side of this thing come Sunday?
Yeah, I think this is a really tough spot for the Colonial in terms of what players are trying to do. Last week, having a golf course that was so brutal for the PGA Championship at Bethpage. You have a lot of elevation. You have a lot of high rough. You have a lot of, those players that really played well were high ball hitters. I think you're kind of in the middle this week. Colonial, between this week, it's a flatter golf course. It's a more of a lower trajectory type player. That's why you see a lot of flat ball flight players really do well here. And then thinking about next week at the Memorial is a little bit more like Bethpage. It's a higher type of elevation. It's a little bit more of a higher ball hitters golf course at the Memorial next week. So, I firmly believe on the betting side, when you're betting, people each week, horses for courses. You've heard that a lot.
Yes,
really goes kind of true. So, kind of my favorite guy.
Absolutely.
I kind of look at where people continue to play, where they're from, what types of grasses they play on. My number one pick this week, he played relatively solid last week at the PGA Championship. It's not really his type of golf course. It's a bit like Augusta to him. Is Kevin Kisner at 35-1?
No kids. No
Yeah.
kids. He is a former winner at Colonial, is he not?
Correct.
What,
Yeah.
year before last?
I think he won 2 years ago. Yeah. That's correct.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So all right. So we got kids at 35-1. Who you got? Who else you got coming in there?
I'm looking at another guy. The next couple guys are pretty big odds. The next guy I'm looking at, he's playing really well right now. I really like his ball flight coming into the tournament. This type of deal. He's able to move the ball left to right, right to left. There's a guy named Ches Reavie.
Ches Reavie's been playing at Colonial for a while. He's been out there for years, and I know that that he was he was also he's been playing the Byron a lot as of the last few years. So just to get another guy that I've followed. Good dude. Fun to watch. Of course, all these guys to me are fun to watch. Somebody that can hit the ball better than you can on a regular basis is always fun. So
he's at 50-1. The next guy, he always seems to play these type of golf courses, tied tree line golf courses very, very well. He's a grinder. I think this week is going to be a grind week. I think it's going to be hot and windy. I kind of like Kevin Na this week at 51.
Well, is Kevin Na going to get the stalls and take 14 or 15 freaking practice swings before he tries to actually make contact with the ball? I mean, he's got Kevin. Yeah, Kevin's got a little. He's got a lot of voices in his head, I think.
Well, yeah, I think he's trying to. If you watch some of the outtakes with Tiger, he's actually kind of went the polar opposite way. He's rushing it and grabbing it in the hole real fast. Maybe he's changed his whole deal that way.
Yeah, and I do remember last year he was playing number 9, and he almost got into it was almost an argument in the middle of the fairway with his caddy on number 9, and he pulled it left and was left of that pond and short of the green. And they went back and forth 3 or 4 times, and then he ended up pulling a little wedge out and giving it a little knockdown, and rolled the damn thing in. And I think all was right in the world after that. So,
he's one of those guys. He's a grinder. I think this golf course, you'll see that predominantly the winners of this golf tournament, they're not the longest hitters. They're more tacticians.
Right.
And these first 3 guys kind of fit the bill for sure.
Yeah.
The next guy I kind of like. He's coming off a lot of injuries. I think he's getting healthy. He played solid last week. He likes the hot weather. Florida guy. I like Daniel Berger a little bit this week at 60-1.
Mr. Berger, so you're going with a kind of a pseudo hometown boy then, because that's kind of where you relocated before you came to the big DF Dub.
That's right. I think he's very, very talented. You get these guys. The next 4 days.
You cutting out on us, Bubba?
He's a very good wing player. You there?
Yeah, we're
Yeah, we
here.
got you.
We got you.
Yeah, he's a good wing player. I think he's just now starting to get healthy. I think he has to play well the next couple of weeks to get in the U.S. Open. To be honest with you, I'm not really certain on that for sure. But I think that's where he's at. I think he's grinding right now, and I think he's healthy.
Well, that's good news, man. You got anybody else? You got anybody that you want to throw in there as a real long shot? I mean, I know that I'm not playing, and Timmy's not going to be able to loop me this week. I wasn't able to get an invitation. But you got anybody
Yeah.
that?
Wait, I have a question for you, John.
Okay.
I have a new favorite golfer. Well, John Daly will always be my heartthrob golfer, my golf man crush, if you will. But I have a new favorite golfer as of the PGA last week. His name, and I'm sure you're familiar with her. He's from Thailand.
It's not a her, it's a he.
Familiar with him. He's from Thailand. His name, if I say it correctly, is Jazz Janawatanadond.
You almost got to take a big deep breath before you say his name.
Well, I promise you said it better than I would have.
Well, he tied for 14th.
Yeah. Well, what was he? He was in the second to last group.
Yeah, we got
and
to watch him on TV.
Man, he had some post round interviews, and the kid had a great time. And you know the thing that I took from his post round interview was, you know, he said, you know, he was in the running, and he said I'm not good. I'm not good at this game. I got to get better. And I think that anybody that loves the game like Johnny does and like we do, that you're always thinking that. And if you're not, then you're falling behind. So
Yeah, it just kind of goes to show, just like a little bit earlier, there's so many good players out there that, you know, even though that we really definitively haven't heard of them here in the U.S., that just goes to show you there's so many good players, and so many guys can play that you maybe not have heard of. And that's a beauty of the game. That's the beauty of you know, the growth of the game through the PGA, through the countries and their PGA associations. You know, I think golf is in a great place, and it's going to show just like a 20-year-old kid like Jazz, and I'm not going to say his last name, guys. So,
well, you know what? There's another guy out there that's got a fun name to say, and I can't say it.
Brooks Koepka?
No, well, I mean, there's that, and then there's Coke Rack, but the guy that I'm going to is I believe he's from India, and the last part of his last name is Barnrat, and I just like saying Barnrat. So
let me tell you something. That guy can play. He can.
Absolutely, he can. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Chuto. But yeah, I mean, but again, what y'all need to do is, we were just talking about, you know, everybody wanting to get better. Get yourselves out to the Highland Performance Golf Center there in Carrollton. Let Johnny and the 6 other pros get your swing where you want it to be. Chris Bushell will hook you up, and y'all take full advantage of that facility. I mean, there's more stuff that you can do out there in a day, and that's the place to be to get better.
Yeah, I think you asked me about you want to see a couple flyers. If you want to throw a ham sandwich on a couple of these long shot guys, maybe you've never really heard of them, but there's 2 guys in the field that I really like. I'm not sure that they may be in the hunt. One guy that I know pretty well, he's an Ohio State guy. He's been playing really solid. His game fits that golf course. A guy named Ryan Armour.
Ryan Armour. Is he any relation to the
Tommy Armour?
Tommy Armour?
No.
No.
Or his Tommy's brother, Under Armour.
There you go.
He may have hoped so for a long time, but I promise you, it's probably not.
All right, he's my ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Who's my bologna sandwich?
Bologna Sandwich is a guy that played really good last week in the last round at the PGA Championship. He started working with a new coach, Michael Breed, about probably about a month ago or something. He's really hitting it good. He shot the best round in last week's PGA Championship in the last round, Bronson Burgoon.
Bronson Burgoon, he is now coached by Michael Breed, who was the PGA Teacher of the Year, I believe, a couple of years ago, and has a show, or had a show, I'm not sure, on the Golf Channel. And you can watch that man damn near every day if you want to.
He's a genius. I like what he does. He's real sharp. He's one of the best for a lot of reasons.
All right, so Johnny, all I want you to do is make sure that you schedule some time with me for me to give you a lesson, not on golf but on beer drinking, so that we can make this a whole lot more fun whenever we play golf together.
You got it, guys.
Hey, want to thank John Gerber, PGA teaching professional, for joining us tonight. He is one of the pros at the Highlands Performance Golf Center in Carrollton, Texas, at 2538 Golden Bear Drive. You can reach them at 972-733-4111. Let those guys get your golf game where you want it to be. And Johnny,
should we mention that we will be out there live broadcasting?
Yes, we will.
Is it too soon to do that?
No, it's not too soon. No, it's not too soon, because we're going to go. Johnny and Bush, or Bus invited us out there to.
Man's is drunk.
Sorry. I thought that was what the whole game was.
Oh, it is.
I'm really good at that.
I got a pyramid. You don't.
Because I'm hiding mine, trying to. But Johnny and Bus invited us out there. Wants us to come out on Saturday of the U.S. Open weekend. So it'll be the day before Father's Day. They're going to have their demo day. All the big names in golf equipment will be out there. We're going to do a little broadcast, do a little live broadcast, and I'm sure we'll record it. But y'all come out, come see us. We may have some koozies and stickers and stuff to give away if our beautiful friend Veronica Dennis from Creations 13 gets everything made up. We'll have that together, and y'all can come see us. So, Johnny, you got anything else you want to tell us about?
Yeah, I think the demo day for the listeners on June 15th, the Saturday of the U.S. Open. Obviously, it's going to iconic Pebble Beach. Love that
track. I know you do. That's your favorite track of all times, is it not?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I get invited every year to play in the Pebble Beach Invitational, which is the week before the AT&T. It's a special event for me. It's a special place for me, and it's really exciting. I think the demo day on June 15th at the Highlands Performance Golf Center is fun. Obviously, like you said, with a lot of manufacturers out there, we're going to give a lot of giveaways out. Come out and putt-putt, enjoy the facility, see the facility, say hi to everybody, meet Chris Bussell.
Absolutely meet Bus. We're going to try to get some little contest going on. Tim and I have been talking about it. We're going to try to get a little contest going on. Maybe we can give away some cards to some gift cards where you can go out there and hit some balls and have some fun. Take your kids out there, play some grown man putt-putt. Get your game back where it needs to be. Johnny, we thank you so much for joining us, buddy. I love you, man. You've always been a friend of mine. I appreciate.
We
Jeff.
thank you for your support.
Yes, absolutely.
Is what he's trying to say.
I didn't know how else to put it, but man, beyond that, I appreciate you being my friend and sticking with us through this.
Well,
and
I appreciate it. I love being on with you guys. I love you guys. I love what you're doing, and anytime you guys need me to be on, I'm here for you, and I think you guys are up to big things, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys' growth with the podcast, and Yeah, I love what you guys are doing.
Man,
Well,
thank you
I've
for the
got-
kind words.
Absolutely. And I've got,
Absolutely.
I got, why the crickets, dude? You got,
Because you're talking.
did you hit the crickets 15 times?
I might have misfired
Stop
on the crickets.
the
right there.
crickets from firing off, please. Holy shit. But
Hey,
I
we're
think-
learning still.
But
It's
I
a new
think
board.
it is a new board. New board courtesy of John Gerber and the good folks at Highland Performance Golf Center. Hey, we may accidentally have another golf pregame show for the memorial. So
Well, it's not
Johnny,
going to be on accident.
Johnny, get your picks together. I know Johnny knows every blade of grass out there at that track. And you know what? Maybe we even get Bus on. Maybe we make it a conference call. We get him and Bus on, and really turn this thing up a little bit. Have some fun.
That'd be some fun.
Well, he might have the course record out there. I don't know. He's played that place so many times. He might have the course record every golf course in Dublin, Ohio, I think. But you know, he knows that place better than I do. That's where he grew up. Not definitively at Murfield, but in Dublin. And yeah, it'd be a fun week next week to get us two Columbus boys that supported that tournament, been out that tournament a long time. It'd be a fun week next week.
Is
right.
Jack playing?
Is Jack playing?
Yeah, is Jack going to play?
Well, he's playing, but he's not going to hit a golf ball.
Yeah, I know. I still find I don't know, man. I miss Jack and Arnie playing from my
Jack-
youth. You know,
Jack ain't playing. He's just a player now.
he's a player. True.
It's a special place at Murfield Village Golf Club. I have a lot of members that are there. I've been blessed enough to play it a lot, and it's a special place.
Well, again, Johnny, thank you so much for joining us. We,
Get back to your dinner and your trivia.
yeah. Why don't you
I feel like we've kept you too long. You're probably behind by now.
win us a bar tab, and we'll come drink it for you.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, John. Take care, brother.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, guys.
So that was Mr. John Gerber with the Highland Performance Golf Center in Carrollton, Texas, as Mr. Lance introduced. He's a wealth of knowledge, man. That guy knows his stuff. That's the first time I've had an extended conversation
He
with
could
John.
probably fix your golf swing.
Dude, there ain't nothing to fix about my golf swing.
Well, I did see it the other night at the
At Top Golf.
at Travis Frederick's gig, and
I was a little drunk, though.
There is a golf swing in there. There is a golf
Yeah.
swing. I saw it.
I think I was wearing sandals, too, so that didn't really count.
No, you were not wearing sandals
wasn't?
because you had a long sleeve
Oh, I
button
came
down
from work.
dress shirt. Yes,
God
I was
almighty.
scared. I did not recognize you when you walked
I
up.
looked good, didn't
You
I?
had sleeves on. It might have been a polo. Ralph
you know,
Lauren polo Oxford.
Sean Lee's wife may have been hitting on me a little bit.
Sean Lee's wife was not hitting on you.
It
I
may have
was
been Sean
standing
Lee that was
there.
hitting on me.
Might have been Sean Lee was probably hitting on you more than his wife was.
Hey, they were a cute couple. We got to talk to them for a little
Awesome
bit.
people. Yeah, I'm glad Sean's back, and we're not going to go into football.
Nope.
But Timmy, you got anything else for me?
No, just again, we want to shout out special thanks to the Highland Performance Golf Center in Carrollton, Mr. John Gerber, Mr. Chris Buss, the GM out there.
That's Bustle.
What did I say? Well, Buss.
We're Bus. We call him Bus.
Buss, right?
We call him, yeah, it's Bus. But yes, I just want to make sure his name,
I
folks,
did. I misspoke. My
is
apologies
Chris
and corrections.
It's like
Next episode.
hustle with a B.
You could say Russell with a B.
Well, I like hustle better.
Yeah, you do.
There's a whole lot of people that need a whole lot more hustle in their life.
Good Lord. Hey, special shout out to Jazz Janawadanand, my new personal second favorite golfer in the world. from
And Barn
Thailand.
Rat.
Lance likes Mr. Barn Rat. We'll have to look that up and see what his actual name is. But
I'm afraid to
again,
pronounce
thanks
it.
to Miller Lite. Thanks to Balcones Whiskey from Waco to the world. Thank you to 105.3 The Fan. We love you. Tolos, shout out. And Lance, why don't you take us out of here?
Once again, folks, as always, I hope you all find somebody that makes you happy like Timmy and I have, and find your golf game. But take care of yourself, take care of each other's, and just love life, baby. If the demons catch you, hit me up. I'll talk to you. Love y'all. Good night.
right. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Drunk Sports Podcast. Join us next time for more Drunk Sports Talk with Lance and Tim. They are hammered. Until next time, here's to ya.
We're all drunk.
This is the funnest night ever.
Would you? Would you?
Wow, we got a winner. We're all drunk.
Surprise, I'm here.
Round.